Sylvie, Animals We Love. A true story by Rebecca Henson. In the Florida Keys on the island of Key Largo lives a keeper of baby birds. Her name is Susan By. Over the years, she has raised hundreds of baby birds that lost their mothers. One of those birds was a tiny baby ring-necked dove. Baby birds need to eat often, so to start, Susan fed him bird formula with a syringe every 2 hours. As he got older, he ate wild bird seed from a bowl. Susan usually releases birds when they are old enough to survive on their own. But when the baby ring-necked dove grew up, Susan kept him because he had a splayed leg and couldn't walk. Knowing that my son Alex wanted a pet bird, Susan arrived for a visit to Lake Worth, bringing a ring-necked dove. When asked if he would like to keep the dove, Alex said yes, he would. We named the bird Sylvie. Later we learned that Sylvie was a male, but the name stuck. Sylvie became a beloved member of our family, along with our dog Toby. Birds were meant to fly, so we frequently let Sylvie fly around our house. Often he would follow me from room to room. Sometimes Toby chased Sylvie when he flew. One year we brought back a special treat for Sylvie from the Everglades. Our swamp buggy tour guide told us that birds love eating Florida holly berries. Sylvie loved the berries, but every time he ate them, he terrorized Toby by dive-bombing him and pecking his feet. We finally took away the berries, and Toby never, ever chased Sylvie after that. Sylvie loved to land and sit on our heads. Sometimes, if he was being naughty, he even pecked the tops of our heads. When friends came to our house, Sylvie tried to land on their heads, too. If Sylvie wasn't sitting on someone's head, you could almost always find him sitting on his favorite lampshade. He loved to warm his body next to the hot light bulb. Every now and then, if a feather smelled too toasty, we had to yank him off his favorite perch. One day, I brought a little stray baby bird home from school, so I could take him to the wildlife center the next day. Peep, 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 he cried. So I put him in Sylvie's cage. Sylvie clawed his way over, nudged next to the baby bird, and the crying ceased. Sylvie never left his side. I brought Sylvie to school for a week so all my South grade elementary art students could see him. It took only 1 week for my students and Sylvie to fall in love with each other. Every day the children begged me to bring Sylvie to school. Sylvie begged too. When it was time for me to leave for school, he bobbed his head up and down, screeching, "Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo." Finally, I gave in and brought Sylvie to school most days. Students saw Sylvie when they came to art class. As children appeared, Sylvie clawed his way to the front of his cage to be as close as possible to his new extended family. One day, one of my students said, "Miss Henson, we want Sylvie to have an operation so he can walk. We'll work and pay for it." I figured Sylvie's leg couldn't be fixed or that it would cost too much, but Susan suggested that we take Sylvie to see Dr. Harris, a famous avian veterinarian in Miami. During the visit, Dr. Harris said he could fix Sylvie's leg and that he would do it for whatever the children could pay. Most of my students' families aren't rich, but the children raided their piggy banks, gave up their snack money, and asked their parents for donations. They brought in nickels, dimes, and quarters, and dropped them into a big empty water bottle for Sylvie. One of my students told me, "Miss Henson, it feels good to put money in the bottle." Within a few weeks, the children donated $200. The office gave us a check for Dr. Harris, and we took Sylvie to Miami for his operation. A week later, we came to fetch Sylvie. He had a little bandage on his leg and a tether to align it with his other leg. But for the first time in his life, Sylvie could walk. He seemed so proud, and my students were proud too. Many children through the years came to know and love Sylvie. He was always happy and excited to see them each day. Their love for each other has never faded. Sylvie died a few years ago. Alex and I think of him often. My students from that time are older now, but when I see them around town, they always ask about Sylvie. I tell them that Sylvie has passed on, but I remind them how happy his life was because he had them to love. I think that little bird will be in our hearts forever.